All right, everyone. I want to welcome you back to Community Crossfire. And on this segment, I'm going to have a guest, and she's going to be able to tell you exactly who she represents so I don't get it mixed up because there's so many different entities going on. But I have Tamarra Morris here as a guest. And so I want to welcome you, first of all, to Community Crossfire.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have you been on Community Crossfire before?
I have not.
All right. Well, this is a show with a long legacy. Dr.
Yes.
Allo Plant Sr.
Yes.
And the Lapa TV. And so we're glad to see you here, and you'll probably be a welcome guest as we go through this process of the election.
I would love that, for sure. I would love that.
So could you identify what organization you represent?
Yes. So I am the Regional Field Director for the coordinated campaign of the Delaware Democratic Party. I can tell you a little bit about the coordinated campaign. It is a special group that is convened every cycle, so that's every 2 years, with the primary focus being the support of candidates after the primary. So the role and the tone of the coordinated campaign are created and given to us by the top of the ticket. And this year, the Delaware top of the ticket is Congressman John Carney in his race for governor.
All right. So can you kind of let folks get an idea kind of how that office operates or how it works?
Absolutely. Well, most days now it's pretty crazy in there, which is a good thing. The more volunteers that we have, the more we're able to do. Our sole responsibility right now is gathering information. So when we call you and we ask for your support and where you are with the candidates that are on the ballot, or when we knock on your door and we're asking where you are with the candidates that are running, we're gathering that information for a purpose. And that purpose is to include that information in the strategy that we develop that goes directly into what we call the Get Out the Vote. So GOTV is the acronym. That is a straightforward plan that we use so that we can assist in the process of getting as many people to the polls for the general election as possible. And this year that election is on November the 8th.
Okay. All right, so what if there are people in the viewing audience that have an interest in participating?
We definitely need volunteers. This would not work without volunteers. I have a need for assistance throughout the day. So if you have free time in the morning, midday, or in the evening, we have opportunities available for you to participate in democracy. The most popular and the most frequent are our phone banks. That's when we come together as a group and we are calling. At this time, we are calling for each candidate by name. So we actually go all the way down the ballot. You are included on that, and we're asking specifically if we can count on their support. We're doing the same for our canvasses. So we need volunteers for canvassing as well. That's when we go into the communities and we knock on doors to confirm support for our candidates.
Wow. You know, it's interesting when you say I was included as well. At the office right now, I, like several other Democrats, have one of my signs in that office. So when I first visited the office after the grand opening, and then I asked, you know, are we welcome, even at the lowest level of offices, to be part of the office? And they said yes.
Absolutely.
And they welcomed me to bring in my sign and a few pieces of literature. I don't need to have a whole lot of literature there, but I left a couple of pieces just to be represented. But my sign is there. If we get a chance later on, I may show you the sign. My sign's there.
Yes.
Rashima Dixon was there at the same time I was there, and Vashawn Turner.
Yes.
And you know, they were told that they can go get their stuff, and they went out and got it, and it's there too. So the office is representative of the whole Democratic Party, and please tell your favorite candidate to make sure that they drop by and get one of their signs in there so that we have that wall filled up with everybody's signs.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a wonderful thing when you see that going on. because I'm old enough to know that way back in the day it didn't work that way.
Yes.
So it's good that
Yes.
it's a new day, hopefully, in the way things work.
Yes.
So how will people get in touch with you if they want to participate?
Okay. And even before I give my contact information, I do want to say that I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to come on your show. One of my top priorities as a regional field director is to foster an environment of open communication with candidates, with community leadership, with the community, and being on your show, I think, is a great step towards transparency. I want to have that open dialogue. Anyone can give me a call. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing right now. I'm going to give my direct contact information. So your viewers can contact me directly on the phone using 302-442-5666. And my direct email is my last name, so it's Morris, MORRIS, @deldems.org. And I'll get that information. Myself or my team will follow up with you regarding volunteer opportunities. We are always looking for great ideas on what may work in a community that may not necessarily be getting out to vote. What can we do to foster that interest in the process, in the electoral process? That's our main priority. We need to win big November the 8th, and my team is ready to work, and I'm so happy to be here to share our goals.
Okay, I'm glad that you're happy as well because, you know, democracy is a participatory sport.
Absolutely.
And it's a team sport.
For sure.
And we've just come out of a lot of rough and tumble primaries.
Yes.
And so, you know, for some reason, it seems as if there's a great interest in people being involved. Because, I mean, this was like a record number of candidates.
It was unprecedented, for sure.
And so if you take all of that collective energy, and if folks, once I guess they get a chance to kind of recover from everything that went on, the folks that won and the folks that didn't win all have to recover. You need
Yes.
some recovery time.
Absolutely.
But you guys are there waiting for
We're
folks
ready.
who have any energy left.
Absolutely. And,
Okay.
you know, part of another great reason that to come in and speak about what we're doing is I want to remove the unwritten ideology that we're separate from the rest of the party strategy, or that we're separate from anything that's going on in the community. As Democrats, we have one common goal, and we all need to work together to get there. And the common goal is to win big on November the 8th. And that means we need to make sure that everyone gets to those polls to vote. So my office is ready. I know that you're ready. We are looking for volunteers and everyone that wants to be involved. I have room. So
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to move to one other thing because
Okay.
at the end of the day, we have the GOTV going on, and we have voter education going on. As you saw, I was trying to educate the folks about my complicated race, the
Yes.
at-large.
Yes.
It's a little different than everything else. And a lot of people don't even know who won the primary. Some
Right.
people don't know who
Right.
won which races. So that information has to get out. But at the end of the day, the voters have to vote.
Yes.
So you probably have some kind of way where you can share with people any important deadlines or anything that are
Absolutely.
being faced as far as participating as a voter.
Yes.
Can you share that with them?
Definitely, and I'm glad that you brought that up. If you are not registered, you have until October the 15th to register. You are able to do that very quickly. The website is user-friendly. Anyone that is interested in has more questions, they're welcome to call me directly. They're welcome to call the Department of Elections. Their office is right downtown on French Street. You can physically walk in if you have questions with registering to vote. And I'd also like to point out as well, Sam, is that there's some misunderstanding, I think, around whether or not you're able to vote if you have a felony on your record. I am very excited to say that you are now able to vote. So if in the past you have not been able to vote because there's a felony on your record, you are now eligible to register to vote. So that's no longer a hindrance for a large portion of the community that a lot of times wants to participate. So if you have questions about that as well, please call my office, call me, email me, and we'll make sure that you get the information and get registered. It's extremely important.
If you're not sure, go register.
Right.
That's what I want folks to know. Like, if
Right.
you're not sure whether you can register, go register, because they have a list, and if there's any issues, they will let you know. Otherwise, they will just process you, and you'll get the vote.
Yes.
I went through this a long time ago when they first, there's probably been 4 iterations of increasing access to the vote.
Okay.
So on one of the earlier steps, I was a councilman. So what I did was, once they improved the access, I asked the state of Delaware to send me the list of every felon that had a Wilmington address, because I was going to contact them directly.
Right.
Well, the state of Delaware told me, no, we're not giving that to you. So what I did is, since it was a FOIA request, I took it to the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
And they ruled that they had to give me that list of every
Wow.
felon.
Okay.
And then what I did is, I had letters drafted, envelopes with their names, and every person who was a felon that was on that list of people prohibited from voting, they got a direct letter from me as city councilman at large,
Wow.
chairing the Judiciary Committee. And that's not necessarily what the Democratic Party does, but that's what needs to be done by
Absolutely.
somebody, because a lot of the felons don't know,
Absolutely.
right? And every felon isn't necessarily a Democrat. You
Right.
don't know what they were before.
Right.
So, but I just share that with you, because I always try to get folks to, like, push the thing to the next level,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's what we need. People need
Absolutely.
direct personal notice.
For sure.
And if we had those addresses, I guess the community could almost go to the folks' houses and
Yeah.
tell them, hey, you're allowed to register now, right? But that's a whole nother activity, and that's
Absolutely.
one of those out there for groups that are involved in voter registration.
Right.
Ask the state for that list, or give me a call, and I'll help you ask the state for that list, and then we'll distribute it to everybody who wants to do something positive with it. It's not
Yes.
for playing around with.
Yes.
So we didn't play around with it. Well, look, as we wrap up, are there any other things that you wanted to tell folks, or anything that you wanted to maybe say over again for emphasis? Or?
Well, I absolutely want to say congratulations to you. You pulled out an extremely impressive win in the primary, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I do want to again give my contact information
Okay.
because we need volunteers. We need people who are ready to participate in democracy. This is one of the, well, every election is important, but I'm sure most of your viewers know where we are in terms of this country, what has come out of the elections that are going on. It is important that everyone registered gets out and votes on November the 8th. And if you're not registered, you need to get registered. It's extremely important this time around. You're welcome to call me using 302-442-5666, or send me an email. It's my last name, Morris, MORRIS, @deldems.org.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
I'll pass the word not only with my show but with other hosts.
Okay.
So folks will kind of be aware that you might want to visit.
I
make
would
the
love
rounds.
that. I would love that.
All right.
Thank
then.
you very much.
We're going to take a short